and welcome to our final episode of Cupside Commentary.
No.
Yeah, it's sad, but it also announces the end of what has been an amazing tournament and what did not disappoint come the final. But yeah, Bonnie, we've saw Canada and England go up against each other. You chose England, I chose Canada. We've seen how that's panned out. We had New Zealand and France. What do you think of the weekend?
Oh, wasn't it just a great weekend? We talked about the level of rugby stepping up, and didn't it just deliver? It was so exciting, both games. It was it was a really cool weekend again, and I think the most special one obviously being the final, but you really saw what women's rugby has done to definitely the UK, but even the whole world this year. So yeah, it was a really special weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it felt a lot like a celebration of the whole tournament, fully sold out, a record crowd, which we'll get into later, that just well surpasses anything we've ever seen as far as a World Cup final. Quality of rugby, that was just absolutely spectacular. And it no matter what happened on that game, it felt like a celebration.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, definitely. I think both games and all four teams, you definitely saw, even if it didn't go their way, the excitement that came with the doubleheader, the finals. So, it was really, really cool, like I said. But just a great spectacle of women's rugby and what it means to the players, but also the fans. So, yeah, really cool.
Absolutely. I even remember I saw this interview with one of the New Zealand players who were talking about, hey, look, there's going to be like heaps of people here, but not necessarily for us. Like, we have to accept that a little bit. And then she talked about then later on, as they're trying to rock up, they end up being like half an hour late because there was so many fans blocking the bus that they couldn't get in for warm-ups in time.
Yeah, well, the thing that I loved is, and if you go on World Rugby Cup, or Rugby World Cup, the Instagram, there's a video of Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe, and she's walking off the bus into the stadium with all these fans, and there were Black Fern fans, but also like all the fans for all four teams and even different teams. Just so many fans there, ready for them to clap them on as they're walking into the stadium off the bus. And she gets emotional because, it's not her first World Cup, but like I said, this is something that women's rugby's never seen. And I think rugby for a while hasn't seen this sort of support. And she just got so emotional because you could see how much it meant to her and how far it has come. If you talk to almost any female rugby player that I know, and I think almost any professional one, they always talk about how they just want to pave the way for the future. And for Portia, I think that literally sank in that moment, and she just got so emotional. So I think that was really, really cool to see.
Absolutely. And I think you talk about like how rugby hasn't seen it in general, but it's different as well. It's not even about the numbers. It's about the way that these people are celebrating. It's not, I want my team to beat your team so desperately bad and all of that, which we usually see in the men's. It's also just simply wanting to celebrate the fact that there is a rugby match going on, and how there's fans of rugby there that are there to celebrate every team as they come off the bus. It's not just the Black Ferns supporters, it's everyone, and it's so insanely positive, which is something that we haven't seen from rugby in so long.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just one perspective from the New Zealand side, but even like the most amazing one was obviously the Red Ferns getting off the bus, but on the south stairs of the stadium of Twickenham, all the different levels were all filled, like completely filled. There were no gaps of fans just waiting to clap their team off the bus. And that's not including all the people that were on ground level, but the whole stairs all the way up to the top of the stadium were filled just so people could clap them off the bus. And that is just incredible in itself.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's going to set up like the next couple World Cups. They're going to get so competitive because more than ever there is everything to play for. I think initially it's It's about building and about trying to create a product. Now they have a product, and there is like, I just think the competition is only going to get better immensely. And obviously England not being at home in future, we could see their performances stagger and an opportunity for another team to take that. But in 4 years, we just don't know who's going to be right up the top.
Well, no, that's right. And I think, I think England have, like we've talked about this whole time, they've done this World Cup so well as a nation, but also like the Red Roses, they are now like the next team that beats them, that's history. And so the best thing about that is every time a team versus them now, it's war. Like they want to be the first team to beat the Red Roses. So I think that's a really, really cool thing that we're going to see coming out of this World Cup and looking forward. But not only that, I think everyone now from this World Cup has the motivation to step up their level. So I think it's just amazing, inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, amazing. Yeah, incredible. But we'll start off with our first game of the doubleheader. We'll start off with New Zealand versus France, both unfortunately knocked out going into the final, but battling here for a bronze medal. New Zealand taking the win, 42-26 over France after a dominant first half as well. New Zealand not taking their foot off the pedal at all, but letting in some tries in the second half I don't think they'll be too happy with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked about them fixing their slow start, and they definitely did this game. They definitely, I think, finished, obviously, the semi-final and were a little bit disappointed, but they weren't going to give up this bronze medal. So they definitely came out firing. They were all over it. Again, we saw that connection, the continuity of the ball between all the players in the team. And we just saw some really class Black Ferns rugby. But unfortunately, like you said, in the second half, I think they let off the pedal a little bit. They let some tries in. It looked like France, if they kept pushing, they were going to come back. So I think that scared them, but they were really good to obviously hold out till the very end. And I think very deserving of third place. They worked very hard this campaign, and unfortunately France also did. But I think Black Ferns definitely deserve that medal.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier, like the Black Ferns, they have so much skill, so much potential, and we've seen them play so well with a variety of players as well, and mixing and matching that team a little bit, trying to rest, and they've continued to look good all throughout. And then it felt a little disappointing when they lost to Canada, and Canada is an absolutely class outfit. So to feel disappointed that you lost to a team as strong as Canada, I think says a lot. But I think then New Zealand had a little bit to prove, just to remind people of just how amazingly good they are and how they wouldn't have been out of place in the grand final if they were there.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that having Georgia Miller back on that field, it definitely made a difference for them too. So I think they would have been happy with that. And like I said, New Zealand aren't ever one to fall low of pride, and they play with a lot of pride. So I think, they went into this match wanting to do as well as they could and getting that bronze medal, and that's what they achieved. So like I said, I really think they were deserving.
Absolutely. But we go across to the stats now. Really strong territory, as you expect from a winning side in New Zealand. Possession staying quite close in this game. Ruck success, I think, probably a big deal, 98% to 91. When we're playing at these such high levels, the 7% difference does really change when it's about ball security and making sure to get those repeat phases over and over again. But yeah, I think it's a little bit around the breakdown. But overall, as far as attack goes, France dominating the stats throughout meters carried, runs, defenders beaten, and offloads. I mean, they threw the kitchen sink at it, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely they did. Like I said, that second half, you could see them working for it. Yeah, absolutely they did.
Unfortunate for them, though. But otherwise, the game appearing reasonably close. Maybe a little bit of dominance in the line out from New Zealand. But I guess New Zealand just taking the opportunities that were given to them. France with plenty of flair there to beat those defenders and to make the most with each and every line break. But, I mean, New Zealand just doing what they do and putting on points.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I think, too, New Zealand used every opportunity that they had. I mean, they won 10 turnovers. So even though France were coming at them in attack, they always ended up getting the ball back, which was really helpful for them. So I think that was a big thing for New Zealand. And, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to such high quality of both of the attacks when we've got such high-level teams looking at 70% tackle success rate or lower. Like, just the what was on show there was truly brilliant. But yeah, a high-scoring match, it's kind of expected.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that that'll wrap us up for our bronze medal match. Now on to what is the ultimate match of this World Cup, the one that we've been looking forward to since the very beginning. We weren't sure exactly who's going to be there with England, but we got our answer last week, and this week we've seen the result. Canada managed to put on 13 points in this one, England putting on 33. England stepping it up once again. I thought Canada might be able to put a few more points on, admittedly, and I was hoping their defense would shut England out a little bit, especially because they've been another team with a bit of slow starts. But besides the first 5 to 10 minutes where Canada looked like they were applying heaps of pressure, England came back and they were not behind to begin by any means.
Yes, well, exactly. I mean, Canada applying pressure first. They scored in the first 4 minutes, but our girl Ellie Kildunn was not far after that to return serve. Ellie got a beautiful try. We were talking about it off the microphones earlier, but it was just insane. I mean, that girl just creates anything out of nothing. So that was, yeah.
She scores tries when she has no right to score tries.
No right.
As we were talking about, like, there was 2 defenders in front of her, and she went, I'm just going to go through the middle. And then there was another 2 defenders in front of her, and she just went, I'm just going to go around you, and you're going to do nothing about it because she's so explosive.
Well, that's the thing, right? I think because she's so dangerous and explosive, you know, in defense, you're dancing because you're like, do I commit? Do I not commit? And she just takes all the use of that hesitation, and I mean, it always pays off for her. So yeah, like I said, she was quick to return serve, and then after Ellie's try, I mean, England were all over it. Canada didn't score again until the second half, the 52nd minute. Both tries through Asia Hogan-Rochester, who I talked about last week with the sparkles on her face. So, you know, she's doing really well still.
She did have a good game.
She had an amazing game.
She had an amazing kick as well, like along the sideline, which I really loved. It was definitely lucky on the bounce, but I love that she had the confidence to put it downfield and reasonably well executed. With a bit of luck on the side, it was like she had a great game overall.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, I think, is that we saw in this final. We saw just such expansive rugby and obviously different to the men's, but really, really cool in the women's way. And that's what I loved about this final is, like, it was 2 teams that were just completely world class. And, you know, Canada looked unstoppable going into this final. England looked unstoppable. Like, we knew it was going to be a clash, and it was going to be a clash of brains, and that's what it was. It was completely smart rugby. It was playing to your strengths. It was just amazing. But yeah, like I said, Canada came back, but unfortunately only scoring 2 tries compared to England's 5 tries, which were all full of flair and everything. So
yeah, their forwards looking really, really strong throughout scrums, throughout the maul, looking really, really good and all over Canada's forward pack. Like, yeah, I mean, Alex Matthews at 8 scoring 2 tries herself. Amy Cocaine scoring 1 as well. Abby Ward scoring a try. Like, the forwards just so strong throughout this match.
So strong, and I think you can see that in their headspace as well. I mean, Bodeman was trying to count her turnovers again. She was definitely searching for them. That's what I mean. They've just got an unbeatable, unstoppable mindset, and that's exactly what they produce as well. So, yeah, I think that's what makes England so cool, is that aura, because they have a complete aura about them, and Canada were trying to burst it. They even commented on that, but unfortunately the aura wasn't ready to burst yet, because England brought everything into that game.
Yeah, and it follows the trend once again throughout this whole tournament that I've seen over and over again. Is just the stats don't tell the story. Like, Canada looking really, really strong on statistics, especially in attack, with heaps more opportunity. But I think it's also comes down to England, when they've got the ball, are just that clinical and that effective. And I think it contributes to that aura, because, like, okay, they've got the ball now, we have to get it out of their hands so quickly, otherwise it is going to be points on the board. And if you give England one too many phases, they'll punish you, and they do. Putting 33 points on what Canada's defense has looked really strong, and managed to keep out New Zealand last week, and a reason why I thought Canada had a strong chance this week. But set piece and through the forwards just appeared to be so strong for them, with that star power out on the wings and at fullback as well, and out in the back line. Ellie Kildunn just making something out of nothing. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like,
yeah, well, that's it, right? Yeah, Ellie, Meg Jones, like, they're just unstoppable in the back line, and then you go to the forwards and it's even worse. Yeah, really cool. But I think England's big strong point, although, like, they have so much flair and clinical in attack, defense wins games, and they are just all over the game defensively. I mean, in that game, they completed 209 tackles compared to Canada's 107. And of those 209, they missed 26, and Canada missed 26 of their 107. So you can see the difference in the rates of tackle completion in defence. And I think that's where they really win the games, because they know that when they don't have the ball, they can hold a team out. So like you said, they're looking to get that ball back, and they want to get the ball back so that they can clinically attack, but they're not worried, because they know that they can stop them because of how good they are defensively. So I think that's their really, really strong point. And I think if I'm going up against England, I'd be looking at how to break their defence down.
absolutely. And I think to me, it's the forwards, because, I mean, I was also taught growing up playing rugby that forwards win matches and backs tell you by how much, with just how clinical they are. And I think that's effectively what we see a little bit with England, is like the forwards are just so dominant that I want to see that England backline under some pressure when they don't have that instant go forward by their forwards pushing through the line, and see how Ellie Kildunn and the other backs react to that situation, and can they make something then when the defense isn't on the back foot. But either way, like, that's something that we're looking for in 4 years, or maybe in the next couple of years throughout different matches, because, you know, as we've talked about behind the scenes as well, like, England are the team to beat. Every single team is going to want to win against them so bad, because whoever does is going to go down in history for it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, for the Red Roses to make Canada look like they aren't one of the best teams in the rugby world is insane. So, yeah, definitely that next team is going all for it. And that's the thing, the best part is England have everything to lose in every game now. And all the other teams that verse them have everything to gain. So I think we'll see exciting rugby every time one team versus the Red Roses.
I mean, and then alongside that, like, we've seen how supportive their fans are in general, like, just to rugby into every team. And I'm sure that'll extend and continue on, because, yeah, like, I'm usually not a big fan of England in sports. I think as an Aussie sports fan, I think it's pretty much in my DNA to hate England. But I cannot deny that the fans of the women's rugby over there are some spectacular fan base, and have done an absolutely amazing job when we talk about England's done an amazing job hosting it, it is also about the fans who have turned up for all these different games, whether England are playing or not, and supporting every single nation that is there.
Yeah, well, that's it. It was just... Oh, it gives me goosebumps thinking about this World Cup, because it was just such a huge step for all the female rugby players, and I think athletes as well, just to see what one nation can bring to sport and how much it can grow. So, yeah.
It's been beautiful. But some big wins for some individuals, well, two individuals in particular. In the week before the game, we had... Was it after the game? I think it was after. Anyways, doesn't matter. But the point is, we have two players who have been awarded World Player of the Year and Breakout Player of the Year. We talked about this last week in our different nominees. And we'll start off with Breakout Player of the Year. Would you like to announce?
Drum roll. Breakout Player of the Year went to Braxton Sorensen McGee, and I mean, haven't we absolutely raved about her this whole podcast? She is 18 years old. She plays for the Black Ferns. She can play, I reckon, anywhere in the back line, but we have seen her at fullback and on the wing, and she is just a little pocket rocket. I mean, we didn't even mention it in our talk earlier, but against France in the final, she even got a double again. So she ended up finishing off the tournament at 18 years old with the highest points in the whole World Cup. And I mean, she's just so deserving of that. What a breakout year for her. Yeah,
highest meters carried, 550. Next up is Ellie Kildunn. So Braxton just at 18 is doing so insanely well on so many key stats, tries, points, meters carried. At 18, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, she's killing it.
But we then also see our World Player of the Year going to Sophie de Goede. She's had an amazing World Cup at the moment. And taking that team and having so much success and really proving themselves highly, but also proving herself. If we look at this World Cup, we see her especially dominating in offloads, getting 12 offloads herself and leading offloads. But just around the park, looking really, really strong. And I've been impressed by her. When up against New Zealand, she just looked to be on the ball all the time, and every time it seemed to be in her hands. That's when you know it's an amazing player, is when you see that the ball is in their hands and you lift a little bit, your eyes open a little more, your butt comes off your seat just that bit more, and that's when you know the players are really impactful.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for a second rower to get Player of the Year, I mean, what a testament, because often in rugby, I think the second rowers get a little bit left out. They're hard workers. They do the line-outs. They do the nitty-gritty around the field, and they work hard. But, I mean, Sophie de Goede, she's the next level. She is the next level of second rowers. I think she's the next generation of second rowers. She's just absolutely killing it. I mean, for her to even be able to kick in play, to be able to kick off a tee, to be able to take intercepts, to run hard. Her lineouts are so clinical. What can't she do? And, genuinely, what can't she do? But
I think it speaks to the athleticism that we're seeing in women's rugby at the moment, and especially from Sophie de Goede. When it comes to athleticism, when someone can do everything, it's truly remarkable just how athletic they actually are. And I think that is purely what is going on here. Yeah. She's just that athletic. And to make a switch after an injury into the second row and then to look as good and to be as good as she is, I think is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it speaks volume as to the untraditional way that women play, but it works. And I think men can actually take a little lesson out of that, in terms of not just being good at one role, but being able to complete a number of different things to a very high level. And like you talked about athleticism, I think that's something that the men can take away from the women's game. So Yeah, I think she's very deserving of that award as well. And I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about a couple key stats and whatnot, I think looking at tries across all the teams, number one, we have England, obviously, with 48 tries. Number two, we have New Zealand with 41. And number three, we have Canada with 37. But especially I'd like to point out that every single team, I believe, has, besides one, unfortunately, managed to score a try throughout this, which in a World Cup with such diverse skill levels is, I think, a massive part.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But our Aussie women coming in sixth for the most tries for a team, claiming 18. So a pretty good World Cup for us, and I think a massive congratulations to South Africa getting 19 and having a massive World Cup. I think, like, where are they going to be in 4 to 8 years?
Oh my God, I love that team. Adopting the bomb squad, just their smiles. Yeah, I think in the next few years they're just going to absolutely blossom, and I think too their country is going to be so supportive of that now. So yeah, like, so cool.
Absolutely. But I think the stat that I think means the most to most fans right now has nothing to do with what's on the field, but what is surrounding the field. And that is the over 80,000 fans that rocked up this time for our World Cup final, a stat that blows away anything we've seen before. And I know that we're both just so ecstatic about it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 81,885 people in attendance. That's incredible. Like, genuinely incredible. That is the biggest attendance that a women's match has ever seen.
I think to put it into perspective as well, so in 2014 we had 20,000 at the final attendance. We had 17 in 2017. We had 42, which would have been a massive celebration in 2021 in New Zealand. And now in England, we have 81, nearly 82, near doubling the 42,000 from the World Cup before. Just exponential growth on a whole nother level.
A whole nother level. And to play at Twickenham with a completely full stand is just, like, it would have just been remarkable. And I think for a lot of those women, whether it was their first World Cup or their last or just somewhere in between, like, it would have just been absolutely breathtaking. Yeah.
Well, think about it like this. We now are running out of stadiums that are big enough to hold women's rugby now at its absolute capacity, which is such a celebration of what women's rugby is capable to pull in. Obviously, this is a massive match and is going to be a highlight. But I think to sell out one of the biggest stadiums that you can find and to hit that capacity where it's like, well, we're not going to beat the capacity by that much now because there's just not that many great options to fill up anymore.
Well, no, exactly. But I think, we fill the stadium, and then not only that, we had 5.8 million viewers tuning in across BBC TV and streaming, which made it the most watched women's rugby union match ever, obviously, and the most watched rugby match of the year out of men and women. So, I mean, that in itself is incredible. It's like, if you fill the stands, think about all the broadcasting, because that's like 5.8 million tuning into that game.
That's the numbers, the money that's going to bring in as well. It's only going to get so much more massive. Like, I'm sure they would have predicted a rise, but this is definitely the ceiling of just how good this World Cup could have been, and it hit it. And it's someone's head must be sore because it's bouncing off the ceiling at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. It didn't just hit it; it completely threw it out of the park. Like, Oh, it's just so cool. And I think like 5.8 million are people who streamed in live. You think about all the people who couldn't quite watch it at that time. Like women's rugby is just absolutely, it's on the uphill.
It's a worldwide sport. It's got an amazing culture from everything. And that's probably the big thing for me is just how great the culture has been on, at least on an international level and then a local level here in Canberra. I thought that women's rugby in its entirety has exceeded men's rugby on a cultural level in ways. And the progression it's showing off the field and at the moment on the field with how explosive and creative the plays are getting, women's rugby is definitely on my mind forever.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what this World Cup's done. And you know what, like looking forward to 2029 when we have the home Women's World Cup, I'm just hoping that we can not only meet that standard but blow it away again. I think that would be amazing for a home World Cup.
Yeah, registering interest and keeping an eye out for this home World Cup is massive. We've also got the men's coming up in 2027, so that'll be the focus for now for a lot of fans. But yeah, that Women's World Cup to go back to back of both the World Cups is going to be huge, and just man, what an opportunity! If we can get anywhere near what they're doing there at somewhere like the SCG or the MCG, seeing the MCG sold out would be insane and incredible. And I hope that we get a lot of international fans over here to celebrate. But yeah, I think that wraps us up for the Women's World Cup, unfortunately.
Yeah, I actually think it does. You got any special mentions?
Special mentions. Well, actually, I'd like to thank Bonnie. She has opened my eyes as a host of this, as a co-host of this show, and as a rugby fan to just how amazing women's rugby has been and is being and will be, and to take me along for the ride on such an amazing tournament. I'm extremely grateful.
Oh, well, thank you. I wasn't actually looking for a compliment.
I know,
there, but thank you. And I mean, it's a testament to you. I mean, all that we need is people with open minds to jump on board and have a few watches. And I'm very grateful that you were open to do that and obviously fell in love with what was in front of you. So, thank you. But yeah, I think it does wrap us up.
Alrighty. Well, we've been Cupside Commentary. I've been James.
And I've been Bonnie.
Keep an eye out for UCFM. There is more than likely a chance we'll be back at some point. I've got a couple of different things going on. I'm sure Bonnie will be excited next year as well. Maybe we might see a Aussie Rugby podcast talking just about Aussies. We've kind of left the Aussie rugby scene a little bit throughout this World Cup, but that's just because there's so many different nations doing so many different amazing things. But I think that wraps us up for Cupside Commentary. I hope everyone enjoyed each and every episode. You got any final remarks?
No, just keep backing the girls, keep watching, and keep enjoying women's rugby and women's sport in general because it is on the uphill. And yeah,
and don't be afraid to give your opinion and comment and interact with it. But that wraps us up. Thank you. It's been an amazing World Cup. I'll see everyone later. Thank you, Bonnie, for co-hosting this with me.
And thank you, Jane, for co-hosting with me.
All right, and that's us signing off. Goodbye.
Bye.